I wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit about the misconceptions of non-monogamy. I am a non-monogamous person and I have experienced many misconceptions when it comes to explaining what it actually entails. The first misconception I always come across is that it is polyamory. Non-monogamy is not polyamory. Non-monogamy for me means that I am not in any relationship with anyone else. The only relationship I'm in is with myself. And with polyamory, you're actually in multiple relationships, which means you have expectations from multiple people. You basically are in not 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, or 5 relationships. I actually went on a date with someone who was polyamorous once, and he sent me a Google Calendar link to check everyone's schedules that was in his life so I could know when my slots would be. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll pass. Another misconception is that non-monogamous people just want to sleep around a bunch. It's actually not the case. The reason why I'm non-monogamous is that I just don't want to succumb to society's ideal of what a relationship is supposed to be. Like, I've been through that. I've been in a lot of monogamous relationships actually, and it was just a never right fit for me. I don't want to live with anyone. I've lived with boyfriends before. No, thank you, I'll pass. I really cherish my solitude. I think the moment I lived alone and I had a clear state of mind and I started to focus on my needs, I realized that my most important relationship is the one that I have with myself. And that is first and foremost my priority. My solitude is the most important in my life. That being said, I can have multiple lovers. I have very long-term lovers that I've had in my life for a very long period of time, like 10, 12, 15 years. We've stayed in each other's lives. We often share space and intimacy, and they're people that I really care about. I definitely do whatever I want, whenever I want. But I personally like to have one main lover who I sort of build intimacy with and get to know over time and feel safe and get to sort of explore intimacy with each other on a deeper level. That doesn't mean that I want to then succumb to society's ideals of what it should mean to be in a relationship. I definitely want to be with people that have their own lives, that have their own individuality, that their solitude means the same to them as mine does to me. Another misconception is that we are not capable of having emotional connections. This ties back to the second misconception, which is that we just want to sleep around. I definitely love having regular lovers. Like, if I could, I would have one that is just really open-minded and free to do what they want. It's sort of like a don't ask, don't tell policy with me. I like to be intimate and emotionally connected because I feel like it makes the intimacy better. The more I can trust you with my body, with my space, welcoming you into my world and my energy, that is the safe spot for me. That's always a goal for me. I'm not a jealous person. I think it does take some work to break that ideal that's sort of pushed on us. I think we're taught to seek validation outside of ourselves through relationships, through people proving themselves to you by being monogamous. And once you sort of break that down, break that stereotype down, and realize that when you're confident with yourself, you don't feel like you're in competition with the world, when you don't feel like you need to validate yourself through men or relationships, then I think it's easier for you to sort of like focus on yourself, focus on your solitude, and allow people to be who they are, have their individuality. That's always my goal. My autonomy and my solitude are my priorities. Another misconception is that being non-monogamous is sort of like a judgment on everyone else. I love seeing people in love. I love people in relationships. I just don't think it's for me. I find it strange that whenever I try to express my lifestyle to people, they think I'm passing judgment on them, when I'm actually 100% not. Society has just like implemented so much on me that I've tried to like break down. It's been one of my life goals to just break all that shit down that's been like dug into my brain. The more I learn about myself, the more I listen to my needs, the more I realize that I don't really need much. I definitely don't need a man. I think decentering men has been something that's very important for me in order to find my true self. I wanted to just figure out what actually my needs are, as opposed to what I've been taught through Disney movies and like Hollywood and like religion and like our parents. So yeah, those are just a few misconceptions about being a non-monogamous person that I've come across. And another one is that it is not about cheating, having affairs, side chicks, none of that. I guess what they call it is ENM. It's ethical non-monogamy. It means that everyone involved is on board. There's no deception. There's no othering. There is only respect, safety, consent, and get out of my apartment.